On this video, I would like to read Psalm 6 in Hebrew and read it verse by verse with an English translation after each verse and a brief commentary and application. And I would also like to make a New Testament application as well. So this psalm is a very encouraging psalm, very encouraging to me and my wife as we have read it. It's a prayer in time of sickness. And just to set the stage, I appreciate what the Sonsino commentary has said in the very beginning from the Reverend Dr. A. Cohen. Uh, he writes as follows: The sufferer, his body agonized, and his mind troubled by ill wishers who taunt him with being forsaken by God, sends up to heaven his fervent prayer for relief. He is on the verge of death. God alone can save him. If ever the throb of personal anguish found tears and a voice, it does in this psalm. I think this is so true. As we read the psalm, uh, I believe you will be aware of what he's actually saying in that introduction. And I'm thinking this might have been from McLaren, that quote, a Christian Hebrewist. So I'm going to begin reading in verse 1. Lamnatseach bin ginot al hashminit mizmor leDavid. That is for the leader with a probably a string music upon the sheminot, upon the sheminit, the eighth, a psalm belonging to David. This is probably a type of instrument that is maybe lower in tone. Many feel to capture the feeling of the psalm. So we first of all see a cry of anguish, followed then by feeling that God has heard his prayer and the answer. So we begin, Adonai, al be'apacha tochicheni, ve'al b'hamatacha teyasureni. That is, O Lord, not in your anger rebuke me. Do not rebuke me in your anger. And do not chasten me in your wrath. He wants to ask the Lord, or he's asking the Lord, not to judge him in his wrath or in his anger. By the way, we see Hebrew parallelism here and throughout much of the Psalter in Hebrew, synonymous parallelism. So do not rebuke me or chasten me in your wrath, but be gracious unto me. Verse 3, Haneni Adonai ki umlal ani. Raphaeni Adonai ki nivhalu at samai. That is, be gracious, O Lord. Be gracious unto me, O Lord, for I am languishing away. I languish. Heal me, O Lord, for my bones are, and I think we could render this, are in agony. In other words, I need your help, Lord. Be gracious to me. Heal me. I feel in agony in my body, and I really need your help at this time. And so he's going to continue his prayer to the Lord asking that the Lord would hear him and would respond to him and help him. And so we continue then in verse 4. V'nafshi nivhala ma'od, v'et Adonai ad matai. That is, my soul is in agony, has been agonizing itself. And how long, O Lord, how long, how long do I go through this pain, this suffering that I'm going through? I need your help. And so, Lord, don't linger it. Help me. He continues, verse 5. Shuvah Adonai, chalatza nafshi, hoshieni lama'an chasdecha. Return, O Lord, deliver my soul, deliver my life, save me, cause me to be saved for your mercy's sake. Lord, help me, deliver me, save me, and let it be in accordance with your covenant loyalty, with your chesed, your loyal love. I need your help, Lord. And he's praying. And of course, many of us at times go through that kind of agony from pain or from sickness. And we can identify with the psalmist as he's speaking here. And then he goes on. Ki ein b'mavet zikrecha, bish'ol mi yodeh lak. That is, for in death there is no remembrance of you. And Sheol, in Sheol, who can give thanks to you, or who can praise you in Sheol? In other words, he's saying in death, I'm not able to praise you anymore. And in the underworld, Sheol, which was viewed as a shadowy existence in the netherworld, who's able to praise you there? It's like living as ghosts in a, can I say, in a land that is under the earth, and who's able to praise you in Sheol? That's the thought. I'm thinking from a New Testament perspective, I am so glad that Jesus Christ conquered the grave and that he now lives at the right hand of the Father. And he could say to the thief on the cross, today you shall be with me in paradise. And Paul could say to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. So from a New Testament application, it's what's the word I want to use? It gives us hope, and it gives us a feeling of security that we know that we have a Savior who has conquered death, and that we will not be spending our life in another world, or in the underworld, so to speak, or just die and that's it. We have the good news that to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. And the Lord can give that because he's conquered death. And that gives us hope and gives us comfort. And as we get older, that's where our comfort is found. And then he goes on, I am weary, yagati be'anchati, asche b'chol laila mitati, bedimati arsi amse. That is, I am weary with my groaning. Every night I cause to swim my bed. With my tears I wet my bed, or I melt away, I should say, wet in the sense of melt my bed. In other words, I've been crying, and every night he is saying, I groan, and my tears fall on my bed. And Lord, please help me. My eye, ashasha mikaas eni. My eye is dim because of my vexation, or the vexation of my eye. Ateka bechol sororecha. My eye becomes old and blurry, so to speak, because of all my adversaries. He's looking at old age, possibly, and not being able to see. That's the way I'm feeling, the psalmist is saying. And so, Lord, I need your help. My eye is becoming more dim, and it is like an elderly person whose eye is blurry. Help me, Lord, from all of my adversaries. And of course, David was going through a hard time, no doubt at this time, from his adversaries. But we can apply this in New Testament thought to the adversaries that are spiritual. Our Paul says our struggle is not with flesh and blood, but with principalities, with powers, with the spiritual wickedness of darkness. And I think demonic spirits and Satan and all the demons of hell are constantly attacking the mind and heart of a believer. And so he continues, Suru mimeni kol pohale avan, ki shema Adonai kol vikyi. That is, depart from me, all workers of iniquity. For the Lord has heard the voice of my weeping. He now is confident that God has heard his prayer. And because of that, all those that are doing iniquity toward him, he says, depart. For I now know that the Lord has heard the voice of my crime. And you know, I think that's the assurance that the Lord gives in times of struggle, many times, that we feel very down. And then we see that the Lord is answering our requests, our prayer, our pleading. And so he continues, Shema Adonai Techinati, Adonai Tefilati Yekach. That is, the Lord, and we can translate this, will hear my supplication. The Lord will receive my prayer. I think he's concluding here this prayer in confidence. That is, in the Shema here, while it is perfect in Hebrew, I believe it can be what we call a prophetic perfect. And we could translate it as future. It's like it's a done deal. It's as good as done. And so it's in the perfect, but it's futuristic in application. So the Lord will hear my supplication and he will receive my prayer, confident that his prayer has been answered. And so he concludes then, Yevoshu v'yebachalu ma'od kol or yevai, Yashuvu Yevoshu raga. That is, all of my enemies shall be ashamed and shall be in agony, like he was in agony. And they shall turn back, Yeshuvu, and they shall be suddenly ashamed. And so I think while he's looking at physical enemies that were taunting him and attacking him, verbally, saying God has forgotten you and so forth. I think by way of New Testament application, again, I would apply this to Satan, the demons, sin, all the things, the old nature, all the things that believers struggle with. And the good news is Christ has defeated them. Satan has been judged. Greater is he who is in us than he who is in the world. So, what a beautiful psalm. It has tremendous application, I believe, in New Testament application, and applies to us today. So I see it in a spiritual application in the New Testament. And there is a great hymn that I remember singing as a boy. It was authored by E.A. Hoffman. I must tell Jesus. I must tell Jesus all of my trials. I cannot bear these burdens alone. In my distress, he kindly will help me. He ever loves and cares for his own. I must tell Jesus all of my troubles. He is a kind and compassionate friend. If I but ask him, he will deliver. Make of my troubles quickly an end. Tempted and tried, I need a great Savior, one who can help my burdens to bear. I must tell Jesus, I must tell Jesus, he all my cares and sorrows will share. Oh, how the world to evil allures us. Oh, how my heart is tempted to sin. I must tell Jesus, and he will help me over the world, the victory to win. And then the hymn concludes with the chorus, I must tell Jesus, I must tell Jesus. I cannot bear my burdens alone. I must tell Jesus, I must tell Jesus. Jesus can help me, Jesus alone. And what a beautiful hymn. That's where we need to go in time of suffering, in time of sickness, knowing that he has said, cast your burdens upon me. And so what a beautiful application. And we're told in Romans that nothing can ever sever us from his presence and his love if we know the Savior.